So what's going on today? It's Ecoflow River 2 Pro solar generator review and testing. Well, not really review because I don't use it to go camping or anything like that. But for my purposes, I'm going to try using this in my workshop, my garage workshop. I have a few woodworking tools that I want to try this thing on. And then I want to try some of the automotive tools on this thing and see how it does. So this thing does have a surge of 1600 watts and it has a max wattage of 800 watts. So it is rather small for certain things. So we're just going to see how this thing goes. I am not going to get into the specs of this because there's plenty of YouTube videos on all those specs, so you can clearly see like there's USB-A, USB-C, has the cigarette lighter one. I don't even touch that one. And then you have the AC ones, which is what I'm going to be using basically. And then you can actually charge it at the back using an AC or use the solar power. I have a folding solar panel. It actually 160 watts. It actually charges pretty quick. Not as fast as I would like it to be, but max it could take in is 220 watts. I don't have a 220 watts folding thing, and then it costs a fortune, and I'm not a rich man. I'm just a small YouTuber, and not even a really YouTuber. I just kind of do this for fun. But so we're just going to go into a few tests. I'm going to start off with the my miter saw, and then see if it actually cuts things. And yeah, this thing is actually pretty light. It has a nice handle. And it's less than 20 pounds, so you could easily move it around and you can just take it anywhere. So let's get started with the test, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we're gonna try our first test. We're gonna run my old rigid miter saw. My 10-inch runs at 15 amps. This thing has a surge of 1600 watts, but it runs consistently at 800 watts max, I think. Can't remember. See if I can make a few cuts with this. I don't think it will run consistently. So it does max out at 800 watts and actually makes it like a slow, what's it called? Soft start. Which is actually quite nice. And it cut off, so this thing does not work for it. Oh, good test. Let's try a different tool. Let's see if this can run my DeWalt DW7480 table saw. It runs at 15 amps, so I assume this is going to be very similar to my miter saw. It'll start, but I won't be able to cut anything. I'll turn it on right now. So I'm ripping a piece of 3/4 inch plywood, see if the table saw can actually rip it, because this is a fairly long piece. So let's give it a try. It actually did it. It's pretty good. It's a lot better than the miter saw. Let's try a different tool. I'm pretty impressed. Like I just ripped 2 more pieces of plywood and then of 3/4 inch, and it worked great. Let's see how this works on my Greenworks electric leaf blower. So this runs at 9 amps, so this should run it perfectly fine. you saw the fluctuation. This thing actually, this thing feels just as powerful if it was completely plugged in. So yeah, this thing is pretty impressive so far. So I'm gonna do a little bit more cleaning, and I'm gonna try this on another tool, probably my air compressor. See if it actually runs it. So I was looking for some tags. I don't know how many amps this thing runs at, but you saw that it can run up to 15 amps on certain tools. So this thing runs at a 1.5 horsepower. I need to put some air in it now because it just turned on while I was using it. So let's see if it's actually able to turn it on and if it'll be able to run consistently. I highly doubt this thing is going to run for a while. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, overload. It shut off immediately, so it cannot run a compressor. I'm going to try one more or two more tools. Actually, I may not even need to actually try it. What's this thing run at? 120 volts, 4.5 amps. So this will be able to work very well with the polisher that is very dirty at the moment, that I need to clean. Obviously, I will clean it before I use it. That'll run the polisher okay. I'm just going to try out my pressure washer and see if that actually works. If you're looking at the gauge, yeah, it's broken. And thank you, Winners and Amazon, for not helping me. So this pressure washer does not have an on-off switch. You just plug it in and it works. I plug it into this outdoor timer that I have on a remote, which I can't find a remote, and I have to turn it on and off every time. I try to put a pressure switch in it. I couldn't figure out how to wire it out. I'm not smart, so I couldn't figure it out. So if I plug it in, it should just turn automatically, but I'm going to press this AC button on. If you could hear that, this was actually, it turned on for a second and it turned off. So this, the surge on this thing requires way too much power for it to actually work. So unfortunately, the pressure washer doesn't work on it. This will be my final test for tools to be used in the workshop. So let's see if I'm focusing. So much glare. Anyways, we'll see if this runs my primary car cleaning vacuum cleaner. It's just a small 3.5 horsepower rigid vacuum. So let's turn it on. It actually runs less than the peak wattage on this thing supplies. So this thing would actually run this thing very well. So what do I think of this Ecoflow River 2 Pro solar generator? It actually runs most of my tools in my garage workshop pretty well. Obviously, you can't go off grid with this thing because it doesn't run air compressor or the pressure washer. But I'm sure it runs the smaller pressure washers, like the smaller Sunjoes or Greenworks or something like that. It would run it pretty well. And you could actually, I think my main thing is you can take this on a job site with you, as in job site as if you're a mobile detailer. You don't need to get one of those other type of gas generators or a battery powered one if you don't want to, because I didn't even check the cost of what one of those would even cost anyways. But this is more versatile. You could take this to go camping. You could take this to go on a work site or a customer job and stuff like that. So I think this thing is much more versatile. And I think if you buy like one of those remote, or sorry, cordless polishers or something like that. It would cost like $500 or something, and then if the battery is no good, you have to buy multiple batteries, and then that's going to be like more expensive. So I don't know if it's for this thing. You just plug in your whatever polisher that you have, or tiny pressure washer. I think this thing would actually be great, and you can use it for something else afterwards, and you're charging it as you're using it. Obviously, just keep it out of the sun. I have it in the sun right now, but I'm going to be moving it in a few minutes. So, what do you guys think? I actually really like this thing. I might actually consider getting a bigger one, but I don't really work mobily. I don't go to other people's houses to do polish or other stuff, but I actually wouldn't mind putting this on top of my my detailing cart and just run it off that rather than, or I could just run an extension cord because I am at home. So I don't know. It really depends on what you guys want to do with it. I actually really like this thing. I haven't tried the app yet because I'm an idiot. But overall, I do like it. Alright guys, like, subscribe, let me know what you guys think. Alright, catch you guys later.